The way I see flipped classroom is simply an active learning strategy in which you just want to make sure that the students participate or engage with certain resources and certain tasks before you meet them face to face. The reason why it's called flip is because rather than waiting for them to show up for the first time in a face to face session, you flip that trajectory and you say, no, you're already engaging with the material before you come to the class, and then when we see each other, we'll do something different and much more engaging. So the way you can implement these preparation activities, you can use any technology available out there that you can envision students engaging with. One of the typical ones is videos. I've used videos in my designs and it's fairly straightforward. You just use a regular webcam or a mobile phone, or even some applications that capture the way you write in a tablet or something like that. The key point is to promote the engagement of the students with those resources. And you probably should consider first how you design the video. It has to be short. Myself is me writing in a piece of paper, and as soon as I feel one single piece of paper, I limit that. That's the limit of the video. But you also should consider, remember, it's not so much about engagement with technology, it's engagement with the activity. So you have to make sure that you probably add some sort of like summative assessment opportunities or formative assessment, multiple choice questions, so that they reflect on that video content and you make it much more useful. And like I mentioned before, if you are scared that the students might not engage with these resources before they come to class, then you throw in some sort of summative assessment, and that way you increase a little bit the extrinsic motivation for them to participate. To me, one of the main difficulties when you embrace this flipped classroom paradigm is that as soon as you feel comfortable designing the activities for the students to prepare the face-to-face session, the face-to-face session becomes incredibly more important. The face-to-face time is incredibly valuable. And what I found over the years is that you have to widen your conception of what is an activity. It has to be interactive, participatory, the students have to engage. So all of a sudden, you have to start thinking way beyond just showing them some material, using voting devices, things like that, or even using physical movement and participation to illustrate any of the concepts. So I think the bottom line is, once you have a clear idea on how to promote engagement while they prepare the class, then the face-to-face session becomes a completely different design space, and you have to widen your mentality to consider any activity that you think is useful for them to understand the concepts and to engage with them. So one of my favorite examples in which I translated an activity from conventional to flipped is trying to explain to the students how a complex system that is made out of subsystems work, right? So the A version would be me showing schematics and talking about what each part of the system, each subsystem does, and then how they interact with each other. So that was version A. The flip version is create a video in which you explain these little details, and then the activity in class, which is very successful, is you ask for a volunteer to explain each one of the subsystems. They stand up. Sooner or later they run into trouble, they cannot articulate their thoughts, and you ask for help to the peers, and the peers usually react much more quickly when they see a colleague of them struggling, right? And then these people keep standing up, and at the end of the activity, I suggest them to engage in a conversation, and that conversation simulates or represents the way the whole system works. So they talk to each other like, I'm the subsystem, I'm giving you this token, what are you giving me? Oh, if you give me that, then I should give it to someone else. So we represent live the way the system works. And it works very well because you always have certain students that are very willing to participate and some others that are not so keen, but they're still there listening at their peers and seeing how things work, and sometimes even they help their peers. So it's an activity that is carefully designed based on them engaging with the video, but at the same time highly engaging and with a big component of engagement for all the students that are in the theater. That type of activity is actually working even if in a large theater with 300 students. I mean, only a subset of them stand up and participate, but the rest engage because they are paying attention to the conversation and making sense out of it.